The Alabama Farmers Federation and the Alabama Farmers Cooperative proudly present Simply Southern with your hosts Jim Allen and Mary Johns.
Hello and welcome to Simply Southern. I'm Mary Johns.
And I'm Jim Allen. Farmers grow plants from seed, right? Today on Simply Southern, we'll go to a farm that grows seed from plants.
We're selecting all the good seeds and we're getting out the weed seeds. So the farmer has pure seed when he purchases this seed.
You don't have to travel to the galleries of New York or Paris to find exquisite art. It's in our own backyard. One Alabama town is leading the way in showcasing our state's unique artists.
You can buy a piece of art in a store anywhere, but when you come here, you get the story, you learn about the artist.
Sidney Phelps of Bonnie Plants is in the kitchen this week with some fresh corn from the garden, putting a new twist on the Southern favorite, shrimp and grits.
Ever done something your brain insists you shouldn't do? Be sure to come back after the break to see just how nervous old Jim can get.
What sustains us? Food? Family? Faith. Alabama farmers live those things every day. They conserve our resources, clothe our families, and fill our tables. They cultivate jobs for our communities and values for our future. Farmers grow it all, right here in Alabama.
There's no such thing as downtime when you own a farm. This is your land. You tend it and try to get the most from it, no matter the weather or time of day. It's been that way for generations. And for generations, your local quality co-op store has been there for you, with a full range of agriculture supplies and services, from feed to fertilizer, seed to grain storage, and the right hardware for any application. You'll always find what you need, plus friendly, knowledgeable advice at your local quality co-op store. There's one near you.
Most everybody has a list of things they want to see or do while they're still able. Maybe it's a European excursion, or a hike through the Alaskan tundra, or maybe it's a swan dive out the door of a perfectly good airplane. If you have a problem with vertigo, you might want to go water the plants or something.
Have you ever stared into the wild blue yonder and asked yourself, what would it feel like to soar through the clouds? Well, they invented airplanes for that. So like any red-blooded American, I've finally worked up the nerve to take things up a notch by plunging towards terra firma at roughly 130 miles an hour. And this is what brings me to the offices of Skydive Alabama, specialists in the field of general thrills and bucket list fulfillment.
Skydive Alabama started in about 2000. We've been open for about 18 years at this point. We're with Skydive Georgia, Skydive Tennessee, and then us. Those are currently all of our affiliate drop zones.
Whilst I and my fellow daredevils wait for our chariot to arrive, we're given a quick but thorough run-through on the do's and don'ts of jumping out of an airplane. For newbies like myself, jumps are made hooked to a professional instructor, a title it takes a lot of practice to obtain.
You have to have a minimum of 3 years from the first time you did a skydive, as well as depending on the type of instructor you are, you've got to have a minimum of 500 jumps. With tandem jumping, you'll be attached in multiple places. You have actually 4 attachments, 2 at the shoulders and 1 at the hips. The tandem pair together, as well as the gear itself, has to be under 500 pounds. The bigger the student, the smaller the instructor has to be. For this drop zone, I'm one of our smallest instructors, so my max weight I can take is about 280-ish pounds.
With one group taking off before me and several to follow, the crew at Skydive Alabama are constantly adjusting straps, packing parachutes, and probably most importantly, calming nerves.
I never stop talking in the plane. I constantly try to make jokes just to get their mind away from what it is we're actually about to do.
And as I watch the first group drift to Earth, it's probably about time my friend Owen starts making some more jokes.
I'll see you in 20 minutes, or you'll hear about me on the evening news. I didn't throw up, and that's a miracle.
Well, folks, here's to another box checked. Although I might need a breather before I move on to wrestling that grizzly bear. And I have to admit, there's something to this skydiving thing.
It's really not like anything you've ever done before, and I'll go ahead and tell you, you never look at anything the same way after you do it.
I was like, this isn't as scary as I really thought it was. And I really do want to kind of feel, you know, the power of being able to have my own exhilarating roller coaster through the sky.
Everyone ends up usually, after they jump, they're usually happy at the end of the day. Even if they had to wait it out for hours because of weather or something like that. By the time they get to jump, they have no words for it. It's the best thing they've ever done.
Mary, I can tell you're jealous, so why don't you just go ahead and make your reservations?
I think it may be a little while before I make any reservations, but if you're interested in doing that, you can go online to skydivealabama.com.
Did you see that? I look like a basset hound with his head hanging out a car window.
There were some droopy dog jowls going on there.
Oh, yeah.
When Simply Southern continues, we're headed to a special place in the heart of Alabama's Blackbelt region that celebrates the area's cultural and artistic heritage.
The versatile peanut, meat of the earth, friend of the soil, tasty, nutritious, packed with protein. And Alabama peanut farmers nourish some very special things. Families, communities, and Alabama's economy. Peanuts. Good for you, good for Alabama.
Who drives your car? An athlete? A rocker? A dreamer? A survivor? A best friend? Alpha Insurance. As individual as you are.
Ugly brush piles cluttering your property? Introducing the all-new DR Chippers, now starting at an unbelievably low price. Chew up big branches that come down in storms and all the trimmings from your yard and garden. The new DR Chipper, now starting at just $699.99.
For a free buyer's guide and DVD, call 1-800-422-0482. Special pricing and free shipping are now in effect. Online at drchipper.com.
A farmer has to live on faith. We do all we can do, but we can only control so much.
Alabama is the second largest poultry growing state in the nation, so we're trying our best to grow all the corn we can for that.
What we produce not only feeds and clothes all of the United States, but about half of what we make goes on to the world market.
We've been able to improve yields, have some things that can help us produce a better crop. I'm proud of the product we make and proud that I can say I'm an Alabama farmer.
Rural Alabama is home to scenic countryside, charming people, and something else you might not expect, a cultural arts center that draws visitors from all parts of the globe. Melissa Bowman takes us to Camden, where art is not only appreciated, it's also making an economic impact.
When you hear economic development project, you may think corporate headquarters, shopping centers, or often for Alabama, auto plants. Probably not art gallery. But Blackbelt Treasures in Camden is both an economic success and a place preserving the culture of one of the South's and the country's most unique regions.
Blackbelt Treasures was started as a nonprofit organization for the purpose of focusing on the arts as a means of economic development for this region.
Named for the rich black soil that made it profitable for growing cotton before the Civil War, Alabama's Blackbelt region has struggled with poverty. There have been many initiatives to boost the area's economy. One study on tourism discovered something interesting.
What was found was many talented people. And so the idea came about, why don't we open a gallery store that focuses on black belt artists and craftsmen.
Painters, potters, writers, musicians, as well as the famous G's Bend quilters all call the area home. It's a place where creativity was born out of necessity. People often had to make their own clothes, furniture, anything they needed to live. But out of hardships, beauty emerged.
We are people that can take basically anything and bring it together and speak a whole nother language with it. And I think that is the most powerful language that you can have.
When it opened in 2005, Blackbelt Treasures featured 75 artists. Today, more than 450 profit from gallery and online sales.
We have to date actually returned to the hands of artists and craftsmen well over $1 million.
But Blackbelt Treasures is more than a gallery. It's also a creative outlet open to everyone. Classes are available for all ages. It's also the perfect meeting place for those who want to create and connect. The Textiles Group welcomes people who love to knit, sew, and crochet. There's also a monthly book club for literature lovers. There are many reasons people are drawn here. Something about it connects with visitors who come from all 50 states and more than 30 countries.
This painting by Jonna Bush, titled Celebrating Our Blackbelt Treasures, greets arriving visitors. All of these artists are sons and daughters of the Black Belt. The cultural and artistic diversity represented on this canvas comes to life here every day at Blackbelt Treasures.
We really want the diversity to show because that represents the people of the region. We have those that have been formally trained through college, and then we have those who are folk artists and they have taught themselves.
Kristen Law is both an employee of Blackbelt Treasures and a featured artist.
Every day you're here, a different artist walks in and they give you a hug and you talk to them and you can't help but be inspired by them every day.
The gallery isn't just a place to display work. Staff provide classes and support to help artists understand their value and market their work.
Blackbelt's been a real benefit because otherwise I just live in the country, never go anywhere. And so when I found out about Blackbelt and brought some here, people seemed to like them. And so I kept doing them.
They have come in my life like a warm blanket. And they are good people. I know this because they look at not only just selling the product, they care about the people.
Big plans are underway for Blackbelt Treasures. As it grows, even more people will be drawn to this rural part of Alabama to experience its beautiful culture and people.
You can buy a piece of art in a store anywhere, but when you come here, you get the story, you learn about the artist, you find out about the maker, and it's just so much more than that.
For Simply Southern, I'm Melissa Bowman.
Gallery hours are 10 to 4 Tuesday through Friday, and you can also stop by on Saturday. The hours there are 10 to 2.
In addition to all the classes and events they have there, they have something called Hog Wild for Art.
Yeah, it's a big popular festival, and they hold it in conjunction with a barbecue cook-off. So lots of good food, lots of good art.
Oh yeah.
Up next on Simply Southern, quality crops come from quality seed. And we're headed to a farm where the growing process begins.
One out of 4 Alabama residents have benefited from the Alabama Cooperative Extension System. Last year, Master Gardener Managed Gardens donated $150,000 worth of fruits and vegetables to food banks, and over 25,000 young people developed math, science, technology, and engineering skills through 4-H. Now what we want to know is, how can we help you?
Soybean is a very versatile product. We make crayons out of it.
A lot of the combines you see rolling through the fields have a lot of plastic side panels that are made from a soy product.
The soybeans that we grow on our farm mostly goes into chicken feed.
Soybean production in Alabama employs over 10,000 people.
We grow some of the best soybeans in the world.
We go the extra mile to make sure when our name is stamped on it, we know it's the best product we can produce.
Support healthy food from local farmers by purchasing a Farming Feeds Alabama license plate. The tag funds education and promotion efforts, including Ag in the Classroom, agricultural scholarships, and youth programs. Get your Ag tag today.
Being a catfish farmer to me means carrying on a legacy that my father started about 35 years ago. good way to take care of the land and provide a nutritious product for people all over the world. My name is Mary QUITMAN Holmes. My sister, my father, and I own this farm, Lawson Catfish Farm, in Perry County, Alabama.
Cotton, corn, peanuts. Many of the farm products we enjoy are grown from seeds. But did you ever wonder where the seeds come from? Kevin Worthington visited a North Alabama farm to find out.
There's a 2,500-acre farm near Florence that produces soybeans, wheat, and a variety of other crops. But not one bit of it will end up in your house.
Everything we produce on the farm, we produce it to come through the seed company and to be processed here and bagged and sold as certified seed.
Greg Hamner and his uncle Ike Clemmons started the operation in 1983 after Greg completed a 25-year career as an ag teacher. He had farmed his entire life, but saw an opportunity to add value to the crops he was already growing.
We were growing soybeans and we were growing wheat, and you sell them at the market. But I could see that with a little further processing, you would actually have some value added to that. And that was the incentive for me to do that.
Years ago, farmers would save a portion of their crop to use as seed the following year. Today, most growers buy seed from someone like Clemmons and Hamner because it's easier, less expensive overall, and the seed quality is higher.
The seed coming out of the bin, it can have trash in it. It'll have sticks, stems, dust, which makes it impossible to plant with a planter. Second thing is weed seed. And I'd say the third thing is quality. So basically we're taking out the trash, we're selecting all the good seeds, and we're getting out the weed seeds. So the farmer has pure seed when he purchases this seed.
The first step in the process is to dry the seed. Then they scalp it to remove sticks, leaves, and other large foreign matter. The seed is then sifted where smaller foreign matter like dirt and weed seeds fall through a screen. And the last step is to blow air through it to remove seeds that aren't viable to germinate. Basically, Jordan says, they're making sure a farmer's not paying for trash or weeds.
He's not buying weeds, and all this seed is tested. Once we clean it, it may look great, but we've got to send off a test. We send off a private test, and also the state of Alabama will come by and double check that to make sure we're in compliance and we're selling pure, good seed.
While they started 35 years ago with soybeans and wheat, Clemmons and Hamner has expanded to include cover crops that farmers plant in the winter to prevent soil erosion, wildlife game food, and many varieties of open pollinated corn.
We're doing now 16 varieties of open pollinated corns. Those corns are used throughout the southeast in gardening, for milling. Now we're seeing quite a bit of interest in the brewery and distilleries, wanting those varieties, for their purposes.
Greg says their #1 goal is quality, but he says the secret to his success has been the number of relationships he's built over the years.
I value phone calls. I get a lot of them, and I spend a lot of time, and it may be a person growing 2 acres, and it may be a person growing 2,000 acres, but you treat everybody exactly the same because it can reverse, and we're just blessed to be here.
For Simply Southern, I'm Kevin Worthington.
It's really an impressive operation they have up there at Clemmons and Hamner.
Yeah, and this past year they were finalists in the Alabama Farmer Distinction Contest.
Which goes to show they're really one of the top farms in the state.
They really, really are. Up next on Simply Southern, Sidney Phelps of Bonnie Plants is in the kitchen with a sweet new recipe to try if you like shrimp and grits.
There's nothing quite like sitting down to a home-cooked meal with fresh vegetables from the garden. With Bonnie Plants from your local quality co-op store, you can enjoy the freshest vegetables right from your own backyard. And no matter if you're a raised bed gardener, a rose gardener, or if you farm hundreds of acres, your quality co-op store has exactly what you need to get the most out of your plants. You'll always find what you need, plus friendly, knowledgeable advice at your local quality co-op store. There's one near you.
What we eat, what we wear. It all starts somewhere. And if it's good, it usually starts with a farmer. And that somewhere is right here in Alabama. In a field, in a barn, on a tractor. Right now, there's a farmer starting something good for all of us. And it all starts right here in Alabama.
FFA makes a positive difference in the lives of students by developing their potential for premier leadership, personal growth, and career success through agricultural education.
We're strengthening American agriculture and providing our members with the skills needed to build healthy local communities, a strong nation, and a sustainable world.
We are the next generation of agriculture.
It's our turn now.
Let's show the world what we can achieve together.
We are FFA.
For more Simply Southern, be sure to follow us on social media. And while you're online, visit our website, simplysouthern.tv.net. Simply Southern will continue in a moment.
We believe a plant should be more than a plant. This one is. It's all you need for your garden to succeed because it's a Bonnie plant. It represents hundreds of varieties of Bonnie's quality veggies and herbs. But more, it's from generations of Bonnie people who are passionate about sharing their love of gardening with you. Look for this little Bonnie plant and a whole family of plants like it in your garden center. Bonnie plants, so you'll know how to grow.
Hey folks, Sidney Phelps here with Bonnie Plants. We're back in the kitchen today and we're working on a twist of famous southern shrimp and grits. But instead of using grits, we're going to use something fresh from the garden, and that is corn on the cob. So I've got some peaches and cream style corn here and can't wait to put this. This is great, like Silver Queen corn. Anything really sweet is going to be a nice texture to put into this little touch on shrimp and grits. So first off, what we've got is I've got about 6 ears of corn of what I've been working with, and I've taken about 3.5 cups of that, and I've already done it through cream style. So any way you like to prefer to cream style your corn, I did this through a food processor. It's just a little bit easier. So we're going to take that. I'm going to add it here to a saucepan. Going to get that in there, and we're going to get that going. And I'm going to put a little bit of, I've got about 1.5 cups of milk here. Get that creamy base that we want, and then I'm going to add 1/4 cup of cornstarch as a thickener. So I'm going to get that together, let that start working in. Just give it a quick stir, let that go. Now we want some texture to go with this, and we also want to get the most out of the corn on the cob. So one thing you can do on that is you can milk the cob, take the back of the knife and just run it down. You want to scrape it, and it's going to run all of those juices, everything that you've got from that cob, right into the pot here. And that's just going to add more flavor. You can kind of see it coming off the back of the knife. It's almost just another way of cream styling it without going through the processor. So we're going to do that to all of the cobs here real quick. Make sure we get everything we can. And then once you do this, you just want to discard the cobs and just put them in recycling, compost, or even in the trash. No big deal there. So get that all in there. From there, we want to get some kernels. So we're going to take cob, be very careful when you do that, and just go down the edges of the cob, real easy, and just get your kernels off. And once you get that off, take those and we will put them right into this mixture. So this is going to cook and simmer up for a little while. It's going to probably take about 15-20 minutes on a slow simmer, because you just want to get that thickening. The cornstarch is going to really do the trick of getting that thickened up for you. So we're going to throw that in there. Just going to set this to the side real quick. All right. And the next thing we want to work on, let that stir, let that start building. I'm going to bring the heat up on this to about a medium-high heat. The next thing we want to start working on is our shrimp. So with the shrimp, I've got peeled and deveined shrimp. I'm just going to take some olive oil. I've got a pan that's already hot here. So I'm just going to add this olive oil to this, get us a good layer. And we're going to throw these shrimp right into this. So shrimp are going to be cooking here. We're going to work those around. I'm going to add about 2 teaspoons of butter to this. I've got 5 cloves of garlic. So we want a good garlic shrimp to go in here. This is just minced garlic. 5 cloves of that, and we're gonna cook this. Now, of course, the shrimp are gonna cook really quick. And so you want about 2 to 3 minutes in this pan, working that over. And we get through with that. Once the shrimp get fully cooked, we're gonna put them right over top of our cream style corn. So we're gonna let these get a good quick on them. I'm gonna add some Creole seasoning. This is about a 1/4 cup of Creole seasoning to get flavor. And we'll come back and we will put that on a plate. We've got a great consistency here with the cream style corn, with the whole kernel corn. It looks even just like grits, but the best part about this is we let our shrimp steam. They're good to go. Just gonna throw that in it. Folks, if you want to try recipes like this, check out bonnieplants.com or the app Homegrown with Bonnie Plants.
In addition to recipes, bonnieplants.com is your one-stop shop for gardening information. If you have a gardening question for Sidney, you can email him at simplysouthern@alafarm.com. And if he answers it on the air, we're going to send you a nice gift for your garden.
That'll bring us to the end of another episode of Simply Southern. I hope you'll be back with us again next week when we'll visit one of the top young farmers in the state. You could say he's outstanding in his field.
Oh, Jim, that's bad. But I still can't believe that you jumped out of that plane.
That was probably the most insane thing I've ever done.
Well, thanks for tuning in today. I'm Mary Johns.
And I'm Jim Allen. We'll see you again next week.
Simply Southern is a production of the Alabama Farmers Cooperative and the Alabama Farmers Federation.